It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, throw a bone, getting high, getting shook. Watch all your folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's easy to do one night stands. Try being a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome to another installment of the 2005 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. Almost did my NMSS intro there. We are here from Watkins Glen for some lefts and some rights for the second and only one of two road courses on the calendar this year. Race number 22 of this season, as we take you trackside for the starting lineup here tonight, with Braden joining me in the booth. Your pole sitter is going to be Robbie Gordon, winner of Saturday's Busch race. He'll be in first place for tonight, and Tony Stewart will be to his outside in second place in that 20 car. Looking down the rest of the grid, Ryan Newman, always looking fast at Watkins Glen. He starts in third place in the 12, with teammate Kenny Wallace side by side with him in fourth. Fifth goes to Bobby Labonte, and sixth will be Kurt Busch in the 01 car. Casey Kane in seventh place, and eighth goes to Dave Blaney, a nice qualifying run out of that 77. Jeff Burton will be in ninth place, and Matt Kenseth qualifies in 10th. Kevin Harvick will be in 11th. Carl Edwards takes P12. Jeff Gordon will be in 13th with David Rudiman, another teammate matchup. He's in 14th. Boris Said with a nice qualifying run in the 14 for Haas. He'll be in 15th, and Don Thompson Jr. qualifies in 16th. Elder will be in 17th in the 0 car. Jeremy Mayfield will start in 18th position. Mark Martin will take 19th, and Greg Biffle will take 20th. 21st goes to Brian Vickers, and 22nd will be Casey Atwood in the 30. Sterling Marlin will be in 23rd, and Scott Riggs in 24th. 25th place will be Jamie McMurray in the 40, and Jerry Nadeau will be in 26th place. John Wood will be in 27th, and Mike Bliss 28th. 29th goes to Chad Little in the 28 car. Ricky Hendrick, your points leader, with a bit of a poor qualifying. He'll be starting from 30th place. And Todd Bodine will be in 31st. Johnny Sauter will start side by side with him in 32nd. 33rd goes to John Andretti, and Kyle Busch will be starting in 34th position. Mike Skinner qualifies in 35th with teammate Dale Jr. in 36th. 37th goes to Scott Wimmer, and David Green will be in 38th. Ricky Rudd, 39th. Dale Jarrett in 40th. And the final row will be Hank Parker Jr. in the 4 and Jeff Fultz in the 32. 42 stock cars here from Watkins Glen. Bit of road course action, 32 laps today, and we take you for the command here for the Sirius XM. I don't even know the name of this race. Excuse me. Sirius at the Glen. Command here to fire the engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
V8s roar to life here from Watkins Glen as we get set for some road course action. Of course, a very unique track given that it's only one of two of its kind on the calendar. Gonna be a bit of a wild card here today, Braden. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top of this one.
Yeah, you know, there's only so much that you can predict here at this race and these racetracks. All it takes is one mistake, and suddenly you lose 20 spots.
Absolutely a tough track. Nonetheless, Watkins Glen, always a big challenge. Robbie Gordon leads the field off the final corner here as we head to the front straightaway. 32 laps here today for the Sirius at the Glen, and we are green as Robbie Gordon takes the green flag. Up the S's for the first time. Robbie Gordon got away cleanly there on the start, but Ryan Newman jumped to the inside out of turn 1, and the 12 car is going to take away the first spot on the opening lap as he jumps up into first place. A great start for Newman. Down the backstretch for the first time as the top 4 single out into the bus stop here. Tightest part of the racetrack as Newman leads the snake of race cars through here. Kurt Busch and Jeff Burton leaning on each other a little bit. Always difficult to avoid contact in the opening lap or two here. Top 5 all clean. Casey Kane got away very well as well. And down the second of the long straightaways, other than the front stretch, and towards the final couple corners as Stewart looks on Robbie Gordon for second. Pretty calm start so far. Gordon going to try to go to the outside for the lead into the final corner. Newman maybe got a little loose, and he did, so Robbie Gordon, despite losing the lead for most of that lap, will lead the opening around this racetrack. 12 slots into second. Tony Stewart still clear for third. Here's Jeff Burton to take fourth. It'll be Bobby Labonte and Kane making a little bit of door-to-door contact there for the 5th position as they head up into the S's now.
As we're starting to get deeper into the championship battle, you notice that Kane and Kurt are sitting here fighting in the top 10. Where is Ricky Hendrick?
Hendrick started around 30th place. It was not a great qualifying for him. He started and finished that lap in 32nd position as he's really struggling to try and pick up some spots. It's been some interesting qualifying efforts for him. Last week out at Indianapolis, had a struggle with the engine in qualifying, had to replace the motor, and climbed all the way up to a top 5 finish despite all the odds stacked against him that week. Gonna have to do it all over again here today as he is struggling early in the running, but still a long way left to go here from Watkins Glen. A lot of opportunities to pick up spots, but still a rough start for this weekend for your points leader, and especially gonna be hurting him thinking about it with both of his title rivals Kurt Busch and Casey Kane running within the top 10 early on in the going here today. All clear on the western front up front as the most of the top 10 are single file as of right now. A couple positions have swapped here and there. Jeff Gordon has moved up into 4th place, continues to battle with Jeff Burton for that position as they head out of the S's. Tony Stewart also in that mix, trying to stay in front from the 3rd position. Robbie Gordon and Ryan Newman still comfortably 1st and 2nd place as the battle for the last couple spots in this top 5 continues. Burton with a nice run in that 99 car early on today. Jeff Gordon was trying to pick up some spots there. It was briefly in P4, falls down to 6th now as the 18 will get around him for a top 5 spot, although Gordon fighting back on the outside out of the carousel. As they head towards the final pair of corners, Gordon will get back around the 18, although Labonte's going to look back down low into the final corner. Gordon with a great run, Labonte way wide. Now the battle is between Gordon and Burton for number 4 once again. These two have been deadlocked for about a lap now as they head into turn 1 side by side. Gordon trying to still go around that outside. Burton not giving up on the inside. This is a tight battle between these two as they head back uphill once again. And Burton will dispose of the 24 now. He moves up in front of Jeff Gordon for P4 and stays there. Gordon going to try to challenge him back now as they head down the back stretch. And looks to the inside as they head towards the bus stop. Still a tight battle between these two. Burton going to have to go over the curb a little bit. Sliding it. And side by side into the carousel once again. Gordon trying everything he can. 06 car of Mark Martin in the pit lane with damage. Looking like he got junked there, and we'll get a look at that one as he did about a full, here, half a lap with damage. Even more than that, yeah. Ooh, bit of contact in the midfield there. Looking like an incident as McMurray was trying to get the nose out the inside. That was for 21st or 20th. Mark Martin goes into the wall. Bit of contact with Riggs as well, the 28, and many others. And Ricky Hendrick, your points leader, got a piece of that one as well. Hendrick's day getting even worse as Mark Martin was involved in that incident there, and just a bunch of cars collected in turn one, but not enough to warrant a caution as everybody kept it going. 57 will also pit to repair that race car as well as the 28 of Chad Little. So all those damaged cars coming in.
Not a good day to be a fan of Ford underdogs, isn't it?
Absolutely not. Tough day for pretty much all of them. Gordon still comfortably in the lead in that 31 car. In P1, Ryan Newman, Watkins Glen aficionado, sits in second. And another road course ringer in the form of Tony Stewart in third, Jeff Burton fourth, and Jeff Gordon, another driver familiar with this racetrack, in fifth place. That is your top five after 5 laps completed at the line here. 28 car leaves the pits, long pit stop for him. Scott Riggs got out in front of the leaders, remains on the lead lap. Pretty calm up front right now. Battle between the two of the championship contenders as Kurt Busch and Casey Kane are pretty close together right now. Kane also fighting with Labonte for what is P8. Maybe we'll get around that 18 car and put a buffer between him and Kurt Busch. Up and into the 8th spot, Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon still dueling for the 4th spot. They have been in that battle for pretty much the entire race. Gordon trying to get around the 99, and as they head through the bus stop and into the carousel, might have him this time, and he does. As Gordon gets around Jeff Burton for 4th. Blocking a little bit as they head down the second of the 3 long straightaways now. Burton will stay in line. Tony Stewart is closed up to the back bumper of Newman as he looks to go to the left and around the outside in the final corner as Stewart is not gonna, no, he's gonna get there. He gets clear of the 12 and Tony Stewart moves into second place. Now has his sights set for the 31 of Robbie Gordon, who has led every lap so far. 6 laps completed, starting lap number 7 now, as it is still Gordon, Stewart, Newman, and Burton in the top 5 to switch the order a little bit. Kevin Harvick and Kenny Wallace have joined this battle for an opportunity at the top 5 now. Kevin Harvick with the opportunity now. He looks to the inside as they head down the backstretch. And into the bus stop once again. And Harvick now past Jeff Burton. Kane and Labonte battling for position there. That is for P8. Actually, no, excuse me, P9, as Kurt Busch had gotten past the 2 of them. So these guys who are in the main conversation in points dueling up front amidst this top 10, both of them looking strong. Meanwhile, Ricky Hendrick in the 5 has gotten up to the 25th position if he can complete this pass on Mike Bliss. Directly behind teammate Jerry Nadeau in the 44 car. Ooh, Bliss getting into the back of Nadeau. Getting impatient with Nadeau, maybe trying to help his teammate out a little bit. Hendrick is going to get past the 81. Looking to go 3 wide, if only for a moment, towards turn 1. And Ricky Hendrick gets past. Bliss really not happy with Nadu at all. Hendrick a little loose there out of the corner. As that fight continues, and Hendrick up and clear into 24th is the 5 car. Meanwhile, up front, Kurt Busch and Labonte fighting for 8th as they head through the bus stop. A little bit of contact there. Labonte trying to come out on top of this battle and stays in front of the 01 of Busch. Stewart still trying to catch up to Robbie Gordon for first. Robbie Gordon in that 31 car led 24 of 26 in Saturday's Busch Series race, en route to his 5th victory in that series this weekend, and now has led every lap of this one so far, but a lot more competition here. Tony Stewart still breathing down his neck, and Ryan Newman hasn't dropped off of either of these guys despite falling to 3rd place. Big gap behind them between the 12 and the 24. Jeff Gordon in 4th with a good day so far. Kevin Harvick runs in 5th. Battle continues back here as it's Kurt Busch, who has now moved all the way up into 6th place. Started this lap in 9th as he continues to rocket up the order. Dave Blaney's run has continued to stay strong. He sits in 11th. Boris Sett in the 14 in 12th as well. A good run for those two guys as they are challenging for the top 10 here, knocking on the door of Casey Kane in that 10th spot in that Yahoo Ford. Top 3 still under a blanket here as Robbie Gordon sits behind Stewart, or sits in front of Stewart. Stewart behind Robbie Gordon and Newman behind the 20. Right on the back bumper as they head up the S's. Newman a little closer to Stewart than Stewart was to Gordon that time, but Newman without a chance to try to get around him. Jeff Gordon was faster than all 3 of the leaders that last lap by a couple of tenths, and is trying to catch up to these guys and put himself in the mix for that race lead.
I mean, if you're just going to wait for Robbie Gordon to make a mistake, you're going to be waiting a long time. At some point, you have to just get a nose under there.
Yeah, it's been a matter of Robbie Gordon's been real consistent in that lead. Stewart got close, but didn't quite make the move when he had the one and only opportunity into turn 1, and has not been as close since in the lap that followed. Gordon pulling away from these two in the 20 and the 12. 10 laps completed here. Kurt Busch up another place. The 01 goes into 5th now. Might be one of the fastest cars on the track at the moment as he continues to pick away at him. Gets past Kevin Harvick now. And might have something for Jeff Gordon for P4. Meanwhile, Casey Kane still runs in 10th, and Ricky Hendrick, again, going to check up on the points leader in the 5. He sits in 22nd. Got Carl Edwards in the 97 car directly in front of him for 21st. Harvick going to try to mount a counterattack on Kurt Busch down the backstretch and into the bus stop as these two go side by side. And Harvick, without much thought, is going to be able to get right back past the target Dodge. That opens the door for Bobby Labonte in the 18 on the inside. Labonte got a little loose, though.
Loose, though.
Real sideways, and Kurt Busch will stay in front of the 18. Back down to 6th as Harvick gets back past him for the top 5. Robbie Gordon still running away with this race lead right now.
I wonder if we're going to get a little bit more varied strategies in this race than we got in the Busch race.
And it'll be interesting to see. A lot of people came in at once in the Busch race this Saturday, so we'll see if we get that in the Cup race with the longer race length. Still, as of right now, not really weighing much mind on any of these drivers as they continue to take corner after corner. Top 10 rather mundane at the moment. Not a lot of battles on the racetrack right now, as we are mostly single file throughout the whole pack. One battle back there, as it is Rudeman and Kyle Busch, as the 19 is trying to pick up some lost time. He is going to get past the 68 of Sauter and move into 31st place. 68 and 55 side by side behind him now. A little bit of contact there. Getting greasy for these lower spots, but Rudeman is going to get around the 68, couple of rookies.
Yeah, it's just elbows out racing back here.
As they toil away in the back. And pit stops now, as a matter of fact, as the race leader, Robbie Gordon's going to come in here on lap number 12. He leads the field in, but plenty of drivers are going to stay out here. Kurt Busch will stay out and lead his first lap of the day. Kevin Harvick and Casey Kane still out on the racetrack as well. And of course, with the slower pit speed at this racetrack, 35 miles an hour, you really want a clean pit lane. So it's tough when you come in with a lot of other people and a lot of traffic in front of you. No problem for most of these leaders, as all of the top 4 came in at the same time and had a pretty big gap to each other. 4 tires and fuel for the field here. As Robbie Gordon's got the Goodyears on that car, and he is going to pull away here. Jeff Gordon not too far behind, even closer now to the 12 of Newman and the 20 of Stewart, and they race on pit exit, and Jeff Gordon moves up into net P3 with that move. Meanwhile, the rest of the pack coming into the pits this time, you would imagine, as Kurt Busch will lead the field down the pit lane here. And here comes the rest. Second half of this field coming into the pits now.
Really aggressive pit entry.
Absolutely. Getting as much of that race car as you can get. Chad Little, of course, and Mark Martin, who were drivers who pit in early because of damage, will stay out on the racetrack here. So Little and Mark Martin not lead lap cars. Both will remain on the racetrack for a few extra laps here. Robbie Gordon with a very comfortable lead to second place Tony Stewart here. Jeff Gordon should be in third. Be tight though. We'll see how Kurt Busch's pit exit goes, given that he enters a very clean pit lane, leading the second group in. As everybody else is going to take their leave behind. And also the short pit's pretty important. It's 1.5 to 2 seconds of a difference on fresh tires. You can see that with the shortcut of some of these guys here. But Kurt Busch is going to leave the pit lane in second place ahead of the 20 of Stewart. We'll see if the warmer tires on that 20 get him packed past the 01. And he is going to head to the inside and leave him behind with ease into the bus stop. Tony Stewart into P2. Jeff Gordon might have an opportunity to try to take away third. Got all the way up to the back bumper of the 01 as they head through the carousel. Gordon looking to the right. Kurt trying to block him. Newman also caught up in this as he goes to the left side now. Busch got to block one or the other. He picks the inside. Jeff Gordon going around the outside. And the 24 will get around. Newman stays stuck in. 06 car of Mark Martin is into the pits. Newman trying to go around the outside towards turn 1. Side by side between him and Kurt Busch as they head up the hill now. Kurt's got the preferred line as they go uphill, though, and trying to stick it there, and he stays in front of Newman now with a chance to challenge Jeff Gordon. He goes to the inside. That's for the third spot as they head down the backstretch. Dead heat towards the bus stop. Newman going to try to take advantage as well. Gordon with a big run in the second half of the bus stop there, but Kurt Busch will get past. Close between Newman and Gordon out of the corner, but a great run by the 24. And he's going to look to take it to the inside on Kurt Busch now. This battle for third continues. And Gordon around the outside yet again, and he stays in third, gets back past Kurt Busch. It is a massive gap in first for the 31 of Robbie Gordon. He leads this race by 2.4 over Tony Stewart. Casey Kane runs in 10th in the 38, and the 5 of Ricky Hendrick is all the way up to 19th. It's been a good recovery drive, but still a little bit of ground left to go if he wants to get to around where his championship rivals are. And even further, especially for Kurt Busch, who is the main concern, second in points entering today. Hendrick getting to work on Marlin for the 18th spot down the backstretch. And a little bit wide in the second half of the bus stop, but through the carousel, Hendrick is going to get back around and pass. No, not quite. Marlin's staying strong on that outer line. Big fight by the 22. They stay side by side. Heading to the final two corners in the short chute now. Halfway in the race this time by 16 laps completed and 16 laps to go. Once again, it is Nadu doing some dirty work for Hendrick, trying to help out his teammate in the 5. Down the front stretch, Hendrick with a chance to get underneath, and does so. Gonna need the better line uphill. And he will get around the 44, so a couple more spots picked up as Ricky Hendrick now sits in 17th. That run continues to get better for him as he climbs from another qualifying deficit. Pit stop for the 57 car now. And Chad Little will be coming into the pit lane as well. 2.8 second lead for Robbie Gordon, who's led every single non-pit stop green flag lap today. And he is cruising out front right now. Tony Stewart's also had a very great race and has been in second for most of this thing. Jeff Gordon in third, Kurt Busch fourth, and Ryan Newman rounding out your top 5 just past halfway now.
You have to wonder, is that one lap pressure tire? Are those 1 lap pressure tires going to be an advantage for Kurt?
Absolutely, that tiny little advantage matters, especially when you've got as many corners as this racetrack does. So that 01 could get a little bit quicker as this run goes on, but Jeff Gordon's been giving him a run for his money. Stayed in front so far. These two very, very close and have been for some time. We'll see what the talk is when the run gets longer, and expecting a second pit stop given how early they pit. Should be right around lap number 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark. And at that point, what do? Do you try and hit and take 2?
Hard to say with the tire wear, but We will find out for sure. There's a reason I'm not a crew chief, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the strategy plays out in the latter half of this race, and if anybody decides to take 2 tires, would be a pretty big advantage. The pit stop time difference is about 6 seconds. Is that enough time to make up that time on 4 tires is the question. It would be around 8 to go at the latest, so not entirely sure what that plan is going to be. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon still deadlocked for position as the 01. Ooh, man! Sideswiping each other. Kurt Busch way wide and over the grass as the 24 and 01 got into each other for that 3rd spot there. And Kurt Busch gets past him. A lot of contact there into the bus stop. Gonna get him on board in the 01. Yeah, Jeff Gordon kind of running out of room. Kurt Busch gave him enough space, but Gordon, trying to make sure he didn't hit the grass, ended up turning into the 01, but neither of them the worse for wear for it. And in fact, Kurt Busch flying once he got past the 24. He's already all the way up to the back bumper of Tony Stewart in the 20 car. Casey Kane in the pit lane now. Oh dear, and that is an incident for Casey Kane. One of the championship contenders got turned around in the bus stop here. What in the world? Fighting with the Roush guys for P10 as well as 9th. Ooh, looking like Biffle and Kenseth got together, and Kane got trapped in the sand trap and couldn't get out of it. Ricky Hendrick went off track as well, as these guys were just all over the place. Into the bus stop. Yeah, Hendrick way offline. The 48 and 43 went through the grass. McMurray was way offline as well. So Casey Kane, disaster strikes for the 38, who was in really good position today. And he takes a tow. We stay green here.
And you want to know who's loving this? Kurt Busch.
Yeah, that got in the way of 2 of his 3 main title rivals, Casey Kane and Ricky Hendrick, with issues. Jeff Gordon, the only other one that he's even worried about, and even then, Jeff Gordon, a bit of a ways back in the championship entering today. Not terribly outside this title battle, but worth noting at the very least. And yeah, the 2 main guys that he's concerned about involved in that one. The 48 car of Jeremy Mayfield had to take a drive-through penalty, I believe, due to the cut there. Makes his final pit stop early. 43 does not appear to have been penalized. Yeah, he was not, and he is inside the top 15, so... Or maybe just getting the dirt off the tires. Not sure what the deal is. Ooh, man. Kevin Harvick and Bobby Labonte in a tight battle there as Labonte was sliding it side by side.
I mean, that does present an interesting opportunity, though, for Jeremy Mayfield.
Absolutely shortcutting now. Gonna get one more look at this incident here between the 38, 17, and 16. Looking like it was contact between the 16 and 17 that resulted in this. Yeah, Kenseth came over a little too far and just caught him. And Kane just...
And then just mayhem and behind him.
Kane couldn't get it out of the sand trap. Ricky Hendrick lost a handful of spots there. Drops down to 20th. As a result of that off, McMurray went off as well in the wake of that incident. Kane finally done towing and will leave the pit lane several laps down. He sits on lap number 20 down 2. Joins the racetrack right in front of Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth. Maybe not too pleased with the 16 car as he leaves the pits now. Bit interesting between these two, as maybe a little bit of a hand gesture there by Casey Kane leaving the pit lane. And
I mean, he's calling him number 1, that's fine.
Absolutely. Singular finger salute there from Casey Kane as he leaves the pits, and not too pleased. Bit of in-house beef with the Ford cars, and Casey Kane really not enjoying that. Meanwhile, here's a battle for second place. Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart Side by side as they enter the final two corners. It'll be 10 to go at the line this time by. Stewart trying to stay strong on the outside, but Kurt Busch on the better tires. Dead heat down the front stretch as they race towards turn one. Stewart just has the nose ahead at the line, but Kurt Busch with the inside into T1, and the 01 car is going to move into second place.
Problem with that, though, is that this battle is happening about a mile behind Robbie Gordon.
3.8 seconds, the gap from the 31 to the 01. It is a long way between the top two, as Robbie Gordon has been absolutely cruising today and is surely in control of this one.
Running about a second a lap faster.
Yeah, he's looking pretty quick right now, but not a lot of time left on these tires anyway. It's going to be a pit stop in just a handful of laps if the strategy plays out the way we would expect. We can be expecting these guys to come in soon. And Robbie Gordon, of course, will be pitting earlier from the lead, since he was one of the drivers that was in that first group that came in. In fact, he's going to have the hand out the window, and he's going to pit in this time by. Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch will stay out. So the 20 going to go a little long here. Robbie Gordon in early from the lead, going to try to defend it with a short pit. Looking like really nobody else is going to come in. Jerry Nadeau will be one to come in a little bit earlier, and pretty much nobody else other than David Green. So just 3 cars coming into the pits that time by, and only one of them a member of the top 10. And it is your race leader. Kurt Busch retakes the lead, the only other driver other than Robbie Gordon to have led laps today, thanks to pit cycles only. Stays out on the racetrack, along with Tony Stewart and the rest of the top 5. Interesting to see if Kurt goes even longer here. Tony Stewart probably going to be pitting in this time along with the majority of the field. And to the right goes Stewart. Yep, Kurt Busch is going to stay out on the racetrack. The 01 will remain on the course. Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and caution flag is out! Johnny Sauter around in the bus stop. That throws a wrench into everything as we are under caution. Contact there between the 55 and 68. These two had gotten into it earlier, and looking like Rudeman was sick of the 68, and Sauter goes around. We'll get it back onto the racetrack now after trying to get it out of the sand traps. So that throws a wrench into everything, and Robbie Gordon's race comes falling apart now. Or maybe it'll benefit him. It'll be tough to say, given that he is still on the lead lap. But with a couple extra laps on those tires, gonna be interesting to see what happens. Kurt Busch leads this race as we are under yellow.
All right, Skipper, are you taking three? Are you 3 tires? No,
Definitely not.
That's the
You're still
Are you
taking
taking
4 here,
4?
given that everybody's going to pit. If you're one of the race leaders, you absolutely should be taking 4 tires on this pit stop, if you were to ask me. Lucky Dog is going to go to the 28 car of Chad Little. He will be waved around under this caution.
Just an utterly disastrous race weekend for Yates.
Absolutely. They're 2 stronger cars as well, Chad Little and, of course, Casey Kane, one of the title contenders. Just getting involved in stuff that he didn't want to be involved in.
And then you have the 68 just getting outright junked.
Yeah. That is one of their affiliates, too. Yeah, absolutely. So, tough break for them. Yeah, 55 and 68 have been getting into it today. Today has been the race of tempers, and you wouldn't expect it at a track like Watkins Glen, but we've seen a lot of it here today. Drivers getting fed up with each other. Of course, Casey Kane and the Roush duo of the form of Kenseth and especially Greg Biffle, who is getting into the 17 there, and those two ended up being the reason that Kane might drop a long way out of this title fight. As we wait to see what the pit stop strategy is going to be within the final 10 laps here from Watkins Glen. It will be 7 laps to go at the line, probably around 6 or 5 when we go green. But yeah, if you're going to ask me, I think 4 tires is the call for a race leader. If you're down there in the order and feel like you have speed, say, I don't know, maybe Ricky Hendrick, you might take 2 here, but if you're one of these race leaders, 4 tires for sure, especially given that the 31 had to use those tires for a few laps. So, going to be interesting to see what the strategy call is here. Whole field coming in. Casey Kane's going to stay out. That 38 will get a wave around. Looking like the lucky dog might not even matter if all the lap cars are going to stay out. And Kurt Busch will lead the field into the pit lane here. And here comes everybody. Gonna be interesting to see if anybody ends up taking 2. That will not be the case for Jeff Gordon in the 24, and looking like it is going to be 4 for everybody. No, 2 tires for Jamie McMurray in the 40. Couple of 2
for
tires
John
there.
Wood.
But all the race leaders on 4. John Wood took 2 tires as well. The 57 of Riggs came in again and took tires as well. 57 car. Not a whole lot of time gained thanks to the strategy calls here. A couple of drivers did pit early there. Jerry Nadeau, a mix of them. And David Green also up in this mix as well. Casey Kane going to be thanking his lucky stars that he was in front of these guys who pitted. 38 will be waived, and if we were to get another caution, would have a chance at the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, so Kane will wave around. And the 28 of Chad Little will be receiving lucky dog after the caution period here. So, we'll take an intermission here from Watkins Glen. First caution comes out at an untimely moment. Robbie Gordon's race could have just gone up in smoke. He sits behind Tony Stewart. Smoke himself leads this thing. We'll be going green this time by here at Watkins Glen with the 20 in the lead. Back from intermission here at Watkins Glen. This is going to be for all the marbles. 6 car of John Wood with an engine problem coming to this restart. And looking like he's going to have to pull it out the pit lane.
I think that might be an aborted restart.
I think they're going to go the green here. Let's see. Wood is going to pull off to the right and make as much space as possible. Yep, we're going to go green anyway. Pace car peels off. Tony Stewart, the race leader, after all of that mayhem and the pit stop shenanigans. And we are back green with 6 laps to go. Tony Stewart leads the field towards turn 1. Robbie Gordon not wasting a lot of time. He's going to try to go around the outside towards turn 1. Did not. Oh, it's going to maybe work out for him. He's got the run now as they head towards the S's. Uphill, Stewart's going to have the preferred line and hold him off, though. John Wood made it to the pits, and he's going to get those repairs done. And we're back under caution as they wreck in the S's. Jamie McMurray's around in the back. Kyle Busch involved in it as well. The 77 of Dave Blaney gets a piece as well, and we are back under caution yet again. Robbie Gordon back to the race lead now as he went to the inside in the bus stop. The 31 takes back the top spot. Both the Gibbs cars breathing down his neck as Stewart tries to run him back down. They head down the second of the straightaways, and towards the final 2 corners, can Stewart mount a counterattack, trying to go to the inside. Maybe got a piece of his back bumper, side by side into the final corner. Gordon trying to cover him off, dueling down to the flag. Tony Stewart gets him back, and Stewart has the lead at the caution flag. Man, what a race between those 2 guys. We are back under caution. Kyle Busch with heavy damage. Todd Bodine got a piece of it as well. We are back under yellow, and we'll get a look at what happened there in the S's. As Jamie McMurray was backwards there. Ooh, yeah, 3 wide. Dave Blaney kind of trying to force the issue out the inside, dove it in, and gets into the 40 and 26, straight into a hard impact for Blaney. McMurray in it.
I mean, that's
nowhere to go.
That's gonna be a wreck 10 times out of 10 right there.
Absolutely. Mark Martin got a small piece of it as well. But the 06 will be the lucky dog. We're back under caution here.
Believe you can't get the lucky dog if you were involved in the caution.
That is true, actually. Yeah, he was a piece of that wreck, so that would give the lucky dog to the 38 of Casey Kane. And also did not give Chad Little his lap because of how quick that happened, so the 28 will be on the lead lap on this next restart as well. Take it to intermission. Here from Watkins Glen, chaos ensuing, and Tony Stewart holds the race lead in that tight battle with Robbie Gordon for first. And we will be right back. Coming to the restart here. Tony Stewart still the race leader after that tight battle with Robbie Gordon for first. It'll be 3 laps to go here from Watkins Glen with a 20 in the lead. And your top 5, him, Robbie Gordon. Bobby Labonte sits in 3rd. Kurt Busch up and into 4th place. Had a great restart. Jeremy Mayfield will be in 5th to round out the top 5 as we bring you back to the restart here. You're also going to give the laps to the 28 and 38, who were the last 2 lucky dogs. Pace car is off. And we are back green. Robbie Gordon once again wastes no time. He's been great on the restarts. He looks to the outside heading towards turn 1. Side by side between the 2 leaders as they head through the first corner. Robbie Gordon with another big run on corner exit. Takes it to the outside, but doesn't quite have the opportunity to get back past. Up the hill, can Robbie Gordon get the run that he did last time? He's got it yet again. He's going to cross him over like he did last time. Down the backstretch, the 2 leaders side by side as they head towards the bus stop. Gordon on the inside, Stewart on the outside. Who takes the advantage? Robbie Gordon trying to slip past, Stewart trying to stick with him. Robbie Gordon's got the lead back. Everything stays clean in the back end of the field. It is between these 2 and maybe more for the race win as they head down the second stretch. Tony Stewart yet again trying to go to the inside in the second to last corner. Side by side yet again as they enter the turn. 2 Chevrolets up front trying to duel for this victory. Stewart trying to go around the outside like he did last time. Can he hold it there? Gordon maybe a little loose. Stewart pulling down the front stretch. Dead heat at the line. 2 laps to go. Gordon trying to fend off Stewart. Side by side as they leave turn 1. Stewart with one heck of a run as they leave the corner. Can he get him up the hill? Door to door as they head up the S's. Stewart sliding around the outside. Robbie Gordon on the inside now. Gordon gets back clear. Into the bus stop. Dead heat still as the 20 sits right behind. Couple of cars into the pits for fuel. That's Carl Edwards and Sterling Marlin in. It'll be the white flag this time. Robbie Gordon trying to run away with it. Stewart not letting him out of his sight. They head towards the final 2 corners yet again. This is going to be it. Racetrack still green for your race leader, Robbie Gordon, but Tony Stewart is not going to give up until the final bell. Gordon a tad better out of the final corner. They take the white flag. 1 lap to go here from Watkins Glen. Does Stewart have anything for the 31 car? Couple more pitters, the 4 and 88 in as well. Those are the only 2 left. Up the hill for the final time as Tony Stewart tries to chase down that 31. Maybe a little bit of a better exit as they head towards the bus stop. He might have a run. Does Stewart have anything for him? Towards the bus stop, the 20's got the run to the inside as they head into the bus stop side by side. Robbie Gordon makes a little bit of contact. They stay side by side as they leave the corner and into the carousel. Tony Stewart has the lead back. Does Robbie Gordon have anything for him in the final quarter of a lap? Leaving the carousel. Gordon with the run out of the corner. Stewart trying to block him as they head down towards the final 2 turns. Robbie Gordon looks to the inside. Side by side through the final 2 corners. Can he make it stick? Door to door as they head through the short chute and into the final corner. This is going to be the drag race for the win as they leave the final turn. Who comes out on top? Stewart, Gordon to the line. Tony Stewart wins it. What a finish. Unbelievable. Have you ever?
No, I have never.
Tony Stewart robs Robbie Gordon of the victory here today. Absolutely insane finish coming back to the flag. Traded the lead so many times in those final 2 restarts, and Tony Stewart wins it. I do not believe what I just saw. A last lap overtake for the win here at Watkins Glen. Into the bus stop for the final time. Stewart on the inside, Robbie Gordon on the outside. Gonna make sure I get the results so I don't lose that race. Oh my goodness me. Tony Stewart going down low into the bus stop. One of the last chances to pass. Little bit of contact there as Robbie Gordon trying to keep it on the inside. Stewart over the curbing as far as he could get that thing to go. Through the carousel, Robbie Gordon with the run on corner exit, like Stewart had had a couple times on him before when they had traded the lead. A block from Stewart and then 2. Gordon pulls to the inside into the second to last corner. Down to the bottom, door to door.
Just like Stewart had done many times before, earlier in this race as a counterattack.
So close. Couldn't quite beat him on the gear change, and Tony Stewart just about wins that race. The margin of victory between those two had to have been absolutely nothing. What a finish!
The margin of victory was a scaffold.
0.019, just about 0.02 of a second between your 2 leaders. I do not believe what I just saw, and Tony Stewart absolutely steals it away from Robbie Gordon here tonight. What a finish. What a victory. What a battle. 2 of the best on road courses in the Cup Series going at it for the victory, and Tony Stewart comes out victorious in an absolute nail-biter. You would have never guessed that that would be the conclusion to this race in a million years. And Stewart, the man in second place all day today, comes out on top to win it. That win is going to be his 4th this season.
I also think some credit needs to be given to Greg Biffle, who just made a charge at the end of that race.
Absolutely. Biffle comes home in, let's see here, gonna be 6th place. Great result for him. Kurt Busch, nothing doing on the newer tires. Finishes up in 7th. Jerry Nader with the top 10 run as well in the 44. A great result for a lot of guys. David Green with the pit strategy there ends up in 13th. Boris Said finishes 11th, just shy of the top 10. And Ricky Hendrick, a good recovery drive in the 5 car. Gets all the way up to 14th. Good damage mitigation there. Casey Kane, farthest he could get after the crash is 32nd. But that will do it here from Watkins Glen. Tony Stewart, your winner in an absolute classic of a finish between him and the 31 of Robbie Gordon as they bring it to the flag door to door, nose to nose for the win here tonight. I'm Caden Reif on behalf of Braden in the booth tonight. Always a pleasure to have him by. We'll catch you next week. It'll be Michigan for round number 23, and we will see you then. And as always, have yourself a good one.